brings us to one of our last testimonies for the day, and that's none other than another legend. I met this guy about 20 years ago, and I met him on the phone, and it's amazing when I heard his accent. I said, gee, you sound a bit like me. Where are you from? And it was amazing that he happened to live 4 miles from me when he was a young boy. He was a farmer boy who stepped out of his comfort zone. And I thought I was the only guy in my area that did this type of business, but Peter Shaw is a legend. He builds global organizations. He's a monster. He's a pleasure to work with. You'll hear from the tone of his voice. You'll hear with his sincerity. He's there to help. He's organized. He's just a great guy to have on the team. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring you Mr. Peter Shaw.
Hugh Paul, thank you for your kind words. Can you see me okay on the screen, or?
We can see you certainly, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for your kind words, Hugh Paul. And yeah, we're from the same sort of stock, you know, country boys. And yeah, I'm just blown away by what I've seen this evening, you know, the contributions from everybody on the team, which is amazing. The skills, the backgrounds, the discipline from, you know, the contributions. And it's wonderful to see the ladies as well. I mean, they're great communicators. They're great at organizing and keeping us on the right track. So I'm so thrilled to be part of this team, working with you really closely. And you're a great trainer, and training for several years, and that was really one of the deciding factors for me to engage with you, was because I knew that base was covered, the systems, the structures, and everybody is really seeing, you know, that as well. And of course, that's key, as the other speakers have pointed out, the duplication aspect, because really we're just getting started. You know, we've created a splash, but now we move on, you know, from that splash. And I'm also thrilled. I've heard Frank on the calls, you know, as well, that we've been doing. I've never met Frank, Mr. Frank Farron. And it was quite funny because Frank worked very closely with the gentleman to open the Canadian market in the telecom sector some years ago. I think it was his first venture into the network marketing industry. I actually worked with the same gentleman to open the European market. And when we'd be sitting having a dinner, he'd be always telling me about Frank, what Frank Farron did. So I feel I know Frank, and also resonated with me when Frank was saying he's living in Hua Hin. And I go, I know Hua Hin, I know really well. I've driven around Hua Hin the motorbike. I even own a property in Hua Hin. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to Thailand and having dinner with Frank and just having a wonderful time. And we're building here a team, a community, and you know, this is just something amazing. I love, you know, the fact that there's no company involved here, so we don't have some, with all respect, some idiots who can screw it up. It's on the smart contract, so you know, that for me was, wow, I got to do this. That saves us so much grief, so much potential, you know, pitfalls, so much, you know, landmines that we can step on and, you know, down the road. So there's just so many boxes, you know, this ticks for me. And you know, there's not really much I can share with the people, just, you know, rather than my enthusiasm, but maybe one small tip that I'd like to share. And I've been doing this now as I speak. I've been edifying you, been edifying the team. And edification, you know, in network marketing and, you know, what we do is so key, is so important. And I'll just tell you that, you know, a real example here. When I spoke with Harry and I said, look, we need to look at this opportunity. We need to look at this business. And I said, I'm working very closely with this gentleman who's one of the top, you know, performers, producers in the industry. An amazing trainer, one of the best that there is, and we have a great system that we can plug into, because, you know, people like me and Harry in the past have been, you know, it's like they throw the mud against the wall, and like we stick against the wall, most of the people fall. We've had to figure it all out ourselves. So it was so relaxed and so comforting and so reassuring to know that we could plug into your training, your skills, and your organization, everything else. So when I said to Harry, you know, to look at this, he said, who is this, Hugh Paul? And I told him I edified you. Okay, I will talk with him. And then we set up the call, you remember, and you also, as a professional, without even thinking, you ask, give me a little bit about his background. I told you a little bit about his background. So when we set up the call, of course, I edified Harry, who he is, what he'd done, his background, his discipline, everything else. And then I edified you to Harry, your skills, your background, etc., etc. And then, of course, I handed then over to you. And what you did then, of course, was you edified me back again. And then, of course, you edified Harry. You know, Peter's been telling me amazing things about you, what you've done in the industry and everything else. So when that process is done properly, I mean, Harry, first of all, felt, you know, comfortable. And he was also now that bridge was built. Who is this guy? Who's this? What is his qualification to tell me about this business, this opportunity? I'd already given him the information that when he was receiving the information, he knew and he knows that he's getting it from someone who knows what they're talking about. It's as simple, you know, as that. And that edification process for people now bringing us, you know, the prospects to the Zoom meetings, to the WhatsApp calls is really important, is to create that environment where the prospect knows that they're hearing from the source, they're hearing from the right person. And this is, you know, really, really key to, you know, developing our business. Just makes life easier. And all the, you know, the stuff that we've covered today, if people just will be covering this again and again. And, you know, I always say, you know, network marketing is simple, but it's not easy. It's like everybody can kick a football. Well, most people can kick a football. Most people can ride a bicycle. That doesn't mean to say you can hop on a bicycle and do the Tour de France. It doesn't mean to say that you can go and, you know, be coming out on the starting 11 for Rapid Wien. No, that's discipline. And it's the same with network marketing. And you talk about, and you mentioned it earlier, also is a very important point. In your presentations, you talk about compounding being the ninth wonder when we let the money that's making from the trading, we still have to sit and compound, but also compounding in the sense of the disciplines that we do day in, day out, and that compounded effect of those disciplines, the simple things, the basics done over and over and over again, leads to immeasurable success. And that is the foundation, the disciplines that we apply here, you know, to what we're doing. And we have to set the tone as leaders. We lead by example. I mean, my sport, as you know, Hugh Paul, is rugby. You know, and there's no holding back on that one. So, you know, we're all in, and we lead by example. And there are many analogies we can take, you know, from sport, of course. And, you know, as I say, I, you know, come from a humble background. As you know, I grew up actually on the Fermanagh-Donegal border at a very small little village, from farming background, and you know, life was tough, as you know, in those times, you know, back. And then I moved to closely, where about 4 miles, as you say, in Newcastle, where you live. And you know, it's not where you come from. It's not where you come from. It's where you're going to. And where we're going to, this is really, it's a journey, it's an adventure. And we have people from all over the world joining this call. People staying up in Asia now to join us. You know, at maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, people from the US, the other side of the ocean. And we're coming from so many diverse and different backgrounds. And I know that Harry's developing a team in Africa, where people may not have the financial resources to contribute to the level that people in Europe and other parts of the world may do. But still, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it's where you're going to with this journey that we were on. And you know, I'm just so thrilled to be part of this team, that we're working together, Hugh Paul, you and me, and we're gonna have some fun together. We'll have a little bit of a, we'll be boxing off each other for sure. I know we will, because we're both strong personalities, but that's part of the fun of getting to know each other, you know. And I've had my run-ins with Harry, you know, we've boxed together, and certainly with Sasa, because he's just he's just someone he's just so focused on his goals. And you know, I just admire these gentlemen. It's really amazing to be worked with them. And also like to mention, you know, Peter, for the amazing contribution that she's making and giving to the team with her organizational skills. As I say, the ladies are so important in our community here with their organizational skills and their communication skills. So I'm just so thrilled to be part of this. And I really, you know, just look forward so much to the next, you know, weeks and months as we really begin to develop this all over the world and have just an amazing success and just keep breaking records, I mean, why not? That's what they're there to be broken. So thank you, Hugh Paul, for having me on. I just hand back to you now, and I don't want to take up much of people's time. And there you see it, guys, Hong Kong in the background, one of the most beautiful, amazing cities in the world on my picture there. And that's, the lifestyle that we can have. And I've been privileged to be part of this amazing industry and have an amazing, lifestyle, but also the relationships that we build and the friends that we make along the way. And we'll make new friends and learn from each other as we move forward here. So thank you, Hugh Paul, once again. And I hand back to you. So
thank you so much, Peter, and congratulations on your success in these very early days. And no doubt you're going to hear from this man again. And guys, what you want to do is start building your teams, because when we do another one of these, we want your leaders, your teams, we want the pace setters recognized. It's the pace setter is the secret to this community. And we want to really, you have an opportunity now to get your team pace setter, and we'll feature you in our next Super Saturday.